Hello everyone, Seraphin here. Welcome back for more Pokémon Soul Silver. When I last left you guys, I was taking a break and buying up a bunch of drinks. As you can see here, I'm stocked up on water, pop, and lemonade, as well as full heals, just in case things turn sour. But we're going to go and take a look at this not at all remotely suspicious souvenir shop that is out in Mahogany Town. So let's go take a look back over there. As far as what team we're going to bring in here, there's not really anything I'm like itching to bring with me other than what we've already been using. So that being said, Arbok has the experience share, so he'll be getting a share of everything we fight. So let's go ahead and dive right into this souvenir shop, shall we? And Dragonite attacks a living person with Hyper Beam. That probably didn't feel too good. What took you so long? I was buying drinks. Listen, it was very important. And, what is this guy doing? Oh, he's just getting out of the way. I guess he knows better. How does Lance know where the stairs are? Has he been here before? We should split up to check this place. I'll go first. Alright. I guess I'll go with you, even though you said to split up. You found the secret stairway. How did you do that? I thought it was well camouflaged. Alright, well, let's take a peek and see what's in here, shall we? Ominous-looking Persian statue. My favorite. Oh. And yet it is also apparently an alarm system. Team Rocket, my favorite. Well, let's see what we got. Drowsy, awesome. Well, we have just the thing for Drowsies in the form of a Shadow Claw. Nope. Yep. Goodbye. That wasn't too bad. 184. Not quite enough for level up, but that's okay. And out comes a Zubit. Terribly threatening Zubit. Well, actually, it might not be the... If it knows any good flying moves, it might actually be halfway decent at damaging me, but I am out leveling it by 10, so I don't think it's going to be that threatening. Should be a level up for Heracross. Nicely done. All the attack in the world. Grr, I failed. Well, that's a bummer for you, isn't it? Now what? Well, apparently it's his turn. I didn't realize there was more than one of you. You guys also run really, really fast. Team Rocket Grunt. Zubit. More Zubits, my favorite. Well, why don't we just huck a rock at this thing? Oh, not a rock, I guess. We're just spinning it around in circles over my head. Is that what we're doing? That's what it feels like we're doing. Zubit has fainted. Get a whopping 91 experience. Just like with this silly Rattata, probably. They're just sending stuff at me that's just worth nothing in the experience department. Which is very disappointing, to say the least. At any rate, we are currently in a secret underground Team Rocket hideout. Much like in that was tucked away in the game corner in the first generation. This one's a little less obvious, I guess. Or a little more obvious, maybe, depending on how you look at it. But either way, same concept. They're just kind of hanging out down here, doing heck knows what. And for some reason, Lance has taken a liking to revealing what they're doing and trying to put a stop to it. And again, those of you who know who Lance is, then, you know, more power to you. Those of you who don't, what's wrong with you? Lance is awesome. And Lance is, in fact, awesome, by the way. So, in the old games, you'll notice here that little light just turned off. So I think that means we can't technically trip this one anymore. But in the original Gold and Silver, if you walked in front of one of these statues before disabling them, every single time you walked in front of it, those same two rocket guys would come fight you every single time. Which I bet you still happens now, but I don't want to test it and find out, because I don't get any XP for that. But I think what happens is when you encounter each statue once, it turns itself off, and then you don't have to worry about that particular one anymore. Maybe. I'm going to guess based on the light, otherwise why would they bother? But anyway, so here is a scientist. This was once a ninja hideout. I didn't realize ninjas had computers. Scientist Greg. He's got an interesting look on his face there. Oh, good, a Steel type. You know what's good against Steel type? Everything on my team, practically. Except for Meganium, I suppose, but... Steel is one of those things where it's a really good defensive typing, but it has a couple of very glaring weaknesses. Very common weaknesses, unfortunately, too. Ground, fire, and fighting. Like, come on. That's like 3 of the most common weaknesses of anything can have. Another Magnemite, imagine that. Notice they're also level 20, so we're out-leveling him by a decent chunk, even though we defeated a gym leader with a level 35 Pokemon not too long ago. Although I think the irony is, I think the 7th gym leader actually has slightly weaker Pokemon on average level compared to Jasmine, which is funny. Why that is, I don't know, but... Especially because the idea behind the Steel type in this generation when it first came out was that it was like, ooh, mysterious, and no one fully understands it, and it's terrifying. Well, it's really not, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, Steel's a good type, but it's far from the scariest thing in this game. That used to be Psychic back in the day, especially in Gen 1. Psychic was unkillable in Gen 1. Moving on, so we defeated the Scientist, and what was he guarding? Well, he was guarding something very, very important. Guard spec, cool. Why would he just tell me? Don't ever touch it. Of course I'm going to press it. Goodbye. Surveillance system is off, so now we can walk in front of the Persian statues at our leisure. Notice the lights have turned blue now, so they will no longer trip and summon any further reinforcements, which is good. So we can walk past this one with impunity here and grab whatever this is. A Hyper Potion, sweet. And then down in here in this room is a whole lot of nothing. Let's just run in front of that Persian statue there too. A Nugget! Man, I keep finding these everywhere nowadays. So the weird thing about this floor right here, I don't know what it's supposed to resemble, but every step you take summons a wild Pokemon. And it's usually something crappy like Coughing or Rattata or whatever. So walking through that is a massive, colossal pain, and I don't recommend it. And then this teleporter will bring you to the other side of it, I'm fairly certain. Let's find out, I'm curious. Warps you to the front of the room, that's weird. I didn't think it did that. At any rate, we can walk past this person statue now and fight this person. Feeling lucky, punk? Okay, Dirty Harry. That's not even the real quote, actually, believe it or not, too. Explosives on the floor? Is that what they're supposed to be now? Does that mean they're like Voltorbs and Electrodes or something? And Coughings and Wheezings, things that blow up? I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe that is what it used to be back in the day, was just stuff that blew up in your face like right away. Not a fun time. In fact, I don't even think you could catch them. Maybe. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, there's very few instances when you can't catch something that's not a trainer Pokemon that you're just encountering. Proof of concept of that later on in this area, by the way, too. We'll talk about that when we get there. This guy has a bunch of pathetic little Rattatas that are really not worth my time to kill, to be completely honest with you guys, but it is what it is, I suppose, considering I can't run away from them or make them run away from me. It's like, really? Level 16 Rattatas and level 30 Heracross. Get out of here with this nonsense. Nobody's interested in fighting that. And that's really all he had, was a bunch of freaking Rattatas. Are you kidding me? Dude, go back to trainer school. What do they teach you in Team Rocket? Like, Rattatas are good? Because, newsflash, they're not. At least evolve one of them, for heaven's sake. Like, they're level something. Not that far away, I guess. I don't know. At any rate, so that's that guy taken care of. What was he guarding? Oh, just the exploding floor. Yeah, again, I really don't feel like testing that, so we're just going to run through around again. I just wanted to show you guys where that went and also to defeat that trainer, even though, again, in retrospect, not really worth my time, probably. Let's go downstairs. I think Lance is waiting for us down here. Yep, seems that way. Hi, Lance. I mean, they were okay, really, but thanks. Let's give it our best for our Pokemon. Okay. How is he so much faster than me when I can clearly run faster than he does? I don't know. Anyway. This wraps around over here to another trainer. The door won't open. Well, duh, it has a password. Yeah, that's funny. Tell me what it is, jerk. This is pretty funny too, is that they're so forthcoming with information once you defeat them. It's actually kind of sad. But what do I know? It's a Golbat. I think strength is the way to go here. It's a fairly underutilized move, apparently, because even though it's not a super great T or HM move, it's still doing okay. I mean, we're still just not fighting anything worth a dang in terms of experience, but it is what it is, I suppose. What? I lost? Yeah, imagine that. You got a password for me? I don't know the password. Alright, well, fine. Be that way. He's just a grunt. He doesn't know the password. Does that mean, like, the higher-ups have the passwords? You rotten little pest. That's not very nice. Do you call everybody that walks through here, or just, you know, 12-year-old kids? Ooh, a Venonat. I love those. Too bad I have to squish it, like the bug that it is, with an aerial ace. I still don't understand why Heracross learns aerial ace in the first place. It's not exactly a high-flying Pokemon here. If it were something like Hawlucha, that would make perfect sense, but Heracross, not so much. I'm not going to complain, because it's a pretty useful move, but the fact that it can't miss is just icing on the cake, I think. Like, it would have been good at just 60 base power physical, but that's the same thing as wing attack, really. So I guess you wouldn't need to have both aerial ace and wing attack in the game at the same time, although they have a lot of redundancy in terms of other moves. So, would I be shocked? No. Am I glad it's not the same thing? Yes. Alright, let's head downstairs. There's where Lance ran to. In order to unlock the door, you need the voice of a certain oh, good, it's voice printed. Petrol, the Team Rocket executive. So we gotta find the password to the leader's office, or the executive office. The guy in the cape was incredibly tough. I had no choice but to spill all my secrets, even though he didn't torture me or anything. But then he tells a 12-year-old kid without any reason to at all. Anyway, free full heal, I'll take it. Let's see what's hiding up here. Oh, what's up the stairs? Because I'm curious. Team Rocket HQ. This looks like a whole bunch of nothing, probably. Nope, there's an X special defense hiding in this computer. Interesting. Who knew? I don't think this actually goes anywhere. Maybe it does? I guess we'll find out in a second, won't we? Eliminate you, I must. Really? You're gonna eliminate a 12-year-old kid? Again, why aren't Team Rocket, like, carrying things other than Pokemon? Like, why don't they have guns or something? They're gangsters. They're criminals. Like, why would they care? It's like, they're basically... I mean, originally the Team Rocket was run by Giovanni, for heaven's sake. Like, the dude's a mobster. Come on. Why don't you guys run guns or something? I guess guns don't necessarily exist in this universe, but what do I know? I mean, there is a curious theory about the Great War involving Pokemon that was in Gen 1. For those of you who are unfamiliar with it, it's awfully strange that when you're playing through Red and Blue, that the only people you encounter are, like, young children and women, and very few, like, adult men that aren't elderly. And it's actually true, because there are very few Pokemon, or very few trainers or anybody, really, that you meet that are just, like, you know, aren't elderly men for the most part. So the theory is that all of the fighting age adult men went off to this giant war, and most of them didn't come back. And if you talk to Lieutenant Surge after you battle him, he talks about how his Pokemon saved him in the war. So it's like there apparently was some crazy awesome war, but no one knows the extent of who were the belligerents, who were the you know, what happened, all that, the details of that, so to speak. But it's a curious theory to think about for sure. This is the office we need to get into, I'm fairly certain, but we can't get in here yet because we don't have passwords. What is up this set of stairs here? Just an item, I think. Yep, looks that way. TM46 Thief. Well, that's convenient. Well, let's head back to the way that we came from, because we can't go any further this direction for the time being. I forgot how much of a maze this place is. It's also different layout from what it used from the original Gold and Silver, so I'm not fully acquainted with it per se. Let's see what's over here. More items. TM49. We got Snatch and we got Thief. I'm noticing a trend here. Is there like a TM52 acquire? Like, what's going on here? I used to work for Sylph, but now I run research for Team Rocket. That's an interesting choice of career. That's something I always wondered. Where do criminal henchmen come from? Like, is there like a recruiting drive for evil henchmen for criminal organizations and whatnot? Or like megalomaniacal evil villains in movies and stuff? Like, where do they find those guys? I always wondered that. Like, seriously, is there like a billboard, a recruiting drive? Like, what's the deal? Like, how do they find those people? And why are evil henchmen so fiercely loyal to people that are obviously evil and think they're expendable? Like, you wouldn't think that would be a thing that they would have a great deal of adherence to. And coffee just blew itself up. Well, fine. Be that way. Probably won't kill me. Nope. Sucks to be you. You blew yourself up for nothing. Of course, he has another one. And that might actually lay some hurt on me, but before he does that, we're going to do a... I'll drop a Shadow Claw. Or I'll just miss. Because he's throwing smoke screens down. Alright, well, how about we switch out for something better then? Let's go with Meganium? Even though Meganium doesn't have any moves that are good against this thing. I'm just expecting to blow himself up again. Smaug? Like the Dragon Smaug? Let's throw up a Reflect in case he does blow himself up. Nope, he's going for the Smog again. I wonder what he's doing here. You got a plan in mind? Because... Oh, goody, now I'm poisoned. My favorite. Whatever. I'm just gonna go full Petal Dance on this sucker. I don't even care if it's not effective against him. This is why I need a good Psychic type. That's what I'm lacking in this team, I think. Wow, even not effective, I pwned him in a single hit? Jeez. How strong is Petal Dance? And why haven't I been using it as much up to this point? Anyways, let's go ahead and heal that poison real quick, because I'm not a fan of that. I still have some antidotes. Might as well use those first. Heracross is getting to the point where he could maybe start using a healing item, but... Do I know the password? Maybe. Maybe you shouldn't have told me you knew it. With your very awkwardly positioned hips there. Is that even possible? It's gotta be uncomfortable for her. Maybe Team Rocket just likes their peons to be in constant discomfort. Who knows? I don't know. Let's just huck this snake around the way here. Oh, goodbye, Ekans. It was nice knowing you, pal. That being said, there are supposed to be 2 passwords, so if this chick has one of them, I wonder where the other one's supposed to be. A Gloom! Convenient. I have an aerial ace for you. Gloom always looks like it's drooling. Apparently that's not actually drool. Apparently it's like some sweet-smelling nectar or something like that. Whatever's confused me about that, though, is that apparently Gloom smells awful. Like, apparently, and according to the anime at any rate, Gloom just smells terrible. How can that sweet nectar be so appealing if the whole thing just smells terrible? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. At any rate, what's the password? Slowpoke Tail. But I need 2 passwords, so we gotta find the other one. Which I think is over here somewhere. In fact, I think it's that guy that has it. But first things first, let's get into a scrap with this fellow. I don't care that Pokemon are hurt by our experiments. PETA would like to know your location. Scientist Mitch. Interesting. He has a Ditto. A lot of good that's going to do him when I break Ditto apart. I'm not even sure how that would work, because isn't he just like a gelatinous blob? Does Brick Break really even work? The answer is yes, it does, because it is super effective against him. Again, the logistics of that I don't understand completely, but that's okay. I don't really need to. Heracross gains a decent chunk of XP. Well, he's almost to 31. That's good. Alright, well, that being said, we're going to interrogate this last grunt on this floor in the next episode, and we'll hopefully get the second password. So that being said, thank you very much for watching up to this point. I really do appreciate it. We will acquire the second password and progress further with our investigation of this strange underground fortress in the next episode. So until that time, this has been Seraphin. Stay classy, internets.